going on, world? Happy New Year. It's 2019. JHouze Radio is finally back. Your boy KJ and Los have risen from the ashes, and we're back in your ears. What's going on, Los? How you been?
Not much, man. How was New Year's for you?
I really didn't do much of anything. I just stayed home, played some video games, just had some wine, and that's pretty much about it. Just watched the ball drop.
Wine, so sophisticated.
Yeah, I'm a very sophisticated brother, man. For real. For real.
I remember when you were down on the Jack and Coke with me at the bar.
Hey, don't get it twisted. I will still get down with some Jack and Coke, man. Don't get it twisted.
All right, I hope so. Well, my New Year's was pretty boring. I spent part of it with friends, just a couple that me and my girlfriend know. We hung out with them for a while. We watched the ball drop with her family. It was quiet.
Awesome. So, what do you have any like great memories or anything from 2018? Anything like as far as gaming, film, life?
There are a couple things that are in the works that started in 2018 that should come to pass in 2019.
Okay.
But that stuff I can't talk about yet because that's stuff that's still kind of in the works. Highlights for me was the Spider-Man game.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Like literally, I got a PS4. My girlfriend bought me a PS4 just so I could play Spider-Man.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I was looking up every video. I was looking up the strategy, and all that stuff on it. And she was like, "Here you go, baby. Here's the PS4, and here's Spider-Man." I was like, "Man, do I got to put out or something?"
Yeah, right. What did I do to deserve this?
Career, I would have put out what? I mean, I wouldn't taken a finger in the butt or anything, but
Hey, for Spider-Man, you might have to, man. You might.
Nah, man, I'm sorry. There are limits in life. There are limits.
Oh, man.
But I'm gonna start working on music again. And DJing. I'm going back into it.
Okay.
It's just a couple of personal things happen that doesn't let me get to it. So
yeah.
Now I'm trying to. It's just like I got to kick off the rust from the hands, and that in itself is frustrating. But other than that, 2018 was okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
2018 was pretty rough, man. In some aspects. Personally, I went through a lot of, and this is for a lot of people who probably, don't know, but I went through like a lot of mental depression last year, honestly, and that's just me being honest. And for this year, I really want to focus on, getting better in that aspect. It affected me in many ways. It affected me as being a father, a husband, just putting out my content. It affected my work towards JHouze and things like that. And I really want to focus on trying to get better in that aspect. And normally I don't talk about something like that, publicly, but I realize that mental health is a major thing that's, been going on for a long time for a lot of people. And a lot of people don't really have people to talk to about that, or they don't know where to go to get help with that. So
yeah, that's true.
That is my big goal for this year, is just to get better, put more work into the areas that I missed out on last year. But but on a brighter note, for 2018, some of my favorite things, film-wise, I think Black Panther and Infinity War was amazing. Probably one of the best films of last year. Those are great films.
Do you know I still have not seen Black Panther?
You know what? Get off the show right now. What are you doing?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I read comic books, and I never liked the Black Panther character in the comics.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a little like, I never liked Thor in the comics. That's why I waited so long to watch all the Thor movies. First Thor was okay. Second one was kind of bleh. Third one was actually really good. Black Panther, I didn't like him very much in Civil War. So that's the thing that made me say, I'll hold off on Black Panther unless I have nothing to do one night, and then I'll watch it. Because I'm not a big fan of Iron Man, but he's I can deal with him in the Marvel movies, although it's way too much Iron Man.
Yeah, it's oversaturated just a little bit. At a certain point, it got oversaturated.
Yeah.
You know.
Very much so. Okay, so what about 2019? What do you got planned?
2019, I have a lot of big things that I want to do. As far as JHouze, obviously, I want to grow the show. Try to grow the brand. For a lot of people who probably don't know, and I think I talked to you about it too. I'm considering changing JHouze Productions to JHouze Studios because I think it'll give it more of a broad reach. Because I want to branch out to a lot of different things. I want us to have the podcast. I'm trying to get us into having like a gaming show. I got a few people that I talked to about that, about putting up like YouTube videos and having like a YouTube channel, just for gaming. Eventually, long term, I would love to get into short films again. I mean, what we did at Grey Door was amazing, and it just inspired me to want to branch off of that and do more of it. So I want JHouze to just be a full-fledged just brand, basically. So I would love to do that. New logo. I'm not sure when that's going to go up yet. I'm still working on that at the moment. So, and I want to travel more. I would like to go to Comic-Con this year in New York. So maybe we can try to shoot an episode there if you decide that you might want to go too. But I would like to shoot like a live episode, more so like a kind of like just following us throughout, like Comic-Con and things like that.
I went not last year, but the year before. Friday is the day to go because Saturday it's way too packed, and Sunday's just a little odd because it's where you see a lot more families go. But the costumes are amazing, dear Lord.
The cosplay is insane. Cosplay is insane.
And there are some women I'm like, where the hell did you come from? You walked right out of the comic book.
Seriously, I mean, some people literally take like the entire year after, like the moment Comic-Con is over, people literally start the day after working on their costumes. Just get ready for the next Comic-Con next year.
I know, and impressive, amazing, impressive. There's no fat superhero, so I can't be one.
Hey, you can always be like one of the villains. You could be,
Listen, my options are Penguin, the Blob, and
the Blob.
Yeah, that's it.
That would be so.
There are no fat superheroes.
We can make up one. Call him Dr. Chalupa.
Dr. Chalupa.
I don't know.
Juan Solo, maybe. I'll wear a little Mexican hat and shit.
Oh my god, that's insane. But yeah, I mean, this year I just definitely want to get into more things, get more involved, get out more, travel more, and hopefully we can hang out more, man. Like we haven't hung out in so long. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
So maybe we can try to make some time for that, man. You don't have time for me no more.
Nah, you live like 2 hours away, bro.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
I drive an 8-cylinder, man. I go through $60 of gas every 4.5 days.
Oh wow, are you serious?
Yeah, gas for me is like $350, $400 a month.
Wow, that's
gas.
That's like another like a bill. That's like a car note.
Bro, it's like having a side piece, bro. What are you talking about? $400 a month? Hell yeah!
Wow, that's insane. All right, so you want to kick us off on our first topic of the show notes?
Yes, actually, I want to talk about the DCEU or the DCU, whatever they're calling it now, because supposedly they changed their name. I want to talk about kind of the direction they're going at with Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
Awesome.
Where you think they went wrong previously, and at the end, I like to talk about Ben Affleck and his part of being Batman or not being Batman, who's going to be the new Batman, and all that other stuff.
I think where they started off wrong, and I probably talked about this in one of the previous episodes.
Okay, so we're going to start off about where they went wrong.
Yeah, we're going to start off there.
Okay.
I think they went off wrong with the whole Justice League movie. I think that movie should have waited. It's kind of like just look at Marvel. Imagine if Marvel would have came out with the Avengers like 8 years ago, and then they came out with all the Hulk movies, Thor movies after that. It would have been weird. Yeah, we know some of those characters through comic books, but I just feel like a lot of people who don't know those characters, or their first time seeing those characters, if you would have came out with the Avengers 8 years ago, you probably would have been thrown off a little bit. And I think that's how it was with Justice League. You know, everything was just so quick. The characters never had their own films, and I felt like everything in that film was rushed. And just the quality, you know, just the quality of the stories and just everything just didn't feel right. Everything felt rushed. But what they're doing now, I feel like they're taking a better approach. With, you know, the Wonder Woman movie, Aquaman was successful, insanely successful. I think at this point, I checked today, Aquaman has made over $1 billion worldwide, and that's impressive. You know, for a DC movie, that's impressive because DC has been known to have horrible movies. You know, and Wonder Woman, you know, kind of set the torch. She started doing well, and then Aquaman did even better. So it's looking really good for DC right now. It's making me say, you know what? Maybe this Joker movie won't be bad. Maybe the Batman movie won't be bad.
It's going to be bad. It's Joaquin Phoenix.
You think so?
Listen to me, man. When it comes to something dramatic and emotional and all that other stuff, bro, he's amazing at it. Like, look at the movie Her. He essentially acted against nobody, and the movie was like you were stuck. You loved watching it. You felt bad for him for falling in love with a computer. I don't think he can do crazy very well. He's not like a Jack Nicholson who does crazy all the time.
Oh yeah, Jack Nicholson was born crazy like that. That's just him every day.
He's still my favorite Joker on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, he's my second favorite. You already know who my first favorite is, but we're not going to go there.
Who, Mark Hamill?
No, Heath Ledger. I think. Listen, I know you hate Heath Ledger's Joker, but I love Heath Ledger's Joker for just what he brought to that role. You know, he was nominated for, I don't know what he was nominated for, but he was nominated for something for that role. I can't remember what it was.
He might have been Best Supporting Actor or something.
Probably something like that. You know, so, but I don't know. I mean, I think I have a little optimism. Let's just say that. I have optimism going into what DC is doing. We have a lot of films coming out, you know, and we have like the Birds of Prey. We have that coming out. And that's going to be interesting to see.
That's going to be interesting because Birds of Prey has never been done well.
Yeah, exactly.
On screen.
Exactly.
But here's the thing about Justice League that I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
Do you ever see the Justice League animated movie War? Justice League War?
No, I haven't seen that one, no.
Well, that is essentially taking the new 52 first like 5 or 6 issues,
okay,
and turning it into a movie. Oh. And it was the best way to introduce the characters because, let's face it, you don't need their origins. Everybody already knows their origins.
Yeah.
And introduce the characters a little at a time, and it was really good, and you were hooked. So if you watch Justice League War, and imagine that being done live action, you've been like, oh yeah, this would have been better than Avengers.
Yeah, really?
No, seriously. Absolutely. It would have been better than Avengers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think that's my thing that I'm just worried about DC is that they just started getting good with their storytelling and introducing these characters and making us love these characters. I'm just hoping that they keep going on that road, you know, and with them coming out with, you know, Birds of Prey and making a Joker standalone movie, a lot of these things haven't been done, and I'm just worried that they're going to screw it up, you know. But
they are. That Joker movie is going to flop. It's going to flop because you can't root for the Joker. You're going to be like, yay, kill those 5 people. No, you can't root for the Joker.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, how are they going to do that? You know, he's not a good guy. So it's not like you can say, oh, well, he started off bad and then he ended up good. Joker is an asshole and he wants mayhem, period. He has no reason for wanting it. He just wants it. How are you going to put that in a movie? And my question is also, if it's a Joker movie and it's an origin story, does that mean Batman's not going to be in it? You know, so who's he going up against? Like, what is he fighting? Is he fighting himself? It's so many questions. There's so many questions. You know,
I agree with you. I just think that's going to flop. Yeah. What I'm most interested in is the Flash movie.
Yes, and I don't even actually. Let me check and see. I want to see if that's even in development right now. But I'm really looking forward to seeing that because I love the TV show. I don't know if you watched it, but
Oh, I'm hooked on it. That's like crack to me.
It's freaking awesome. I would love to see Barry Allen on the big screen and just see what they can do with that, because the Flash can go so many different directions, man. It really can.
I like the actor Ezra Miller, what he did on screen.
Yeah.
I think he just did this phenomenal job and took him in a place that I didn't expect.
Yeah, and like normally the Flash. I mean, and that's the thing I like about DC. That's the thing I like about these comic book movies in general, is that a lot of these characters that a lot of us probably never read the comic books on, it's like they're bringing them to the forefront, and you're starting to look at these characters like, wow, these guys are pretty interesting characters.
The one character I want to see have their own movie is The Question.
The Question. I feel like I just saw that character.
Have you ever seen the Justice League cartoon?
Yeah, I've watched it like here and there.
Okay, the guy with no face?
Oh, I thought he was called something else.
No, he's called The Question.
Oh, okay.
That would be an interesting movie.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's a detective movie.
Yeah, exactly, and you can like really dive into that kind of like, you know, like that kind of atmosphere with like a detective movie. Like, look at what they did with Batman over all the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that'll be awesome. I mean, I would love to see more DC films. There's a lot of interesting characters in DC, and I'm just curious to see like who else they're going to dive into. Honestly, I don't really have a specific one I really want to see. I just want to see what they do with that world.
I want to see Flash. I want to see Green Lantern. Those two I definitely want to see.
Green Lantern, man, that's...
No, see, again, like, and I use the animated films as a good example. Hold up. Let me find the exact title of it.
Okay.
But there was a Green Lantern movie, animated, where they actually show off different Green Lanterns.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were trying to stop something from happening, and in that process, hold on one second. And in that process, they highlight stories of certain Green Lanterns, Emerald Knights.
Oh, okay.
Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, and that was so good because it really showed you that Green Lantern is a core, like you know. It's a group of Green Lantern. It's not just Hal Jordan.
Yeah, exactly. Because at first, when I first checked out the whole Green Lantern story, I thought it was just him. No. I didn't realize later that it was like an actual, kind of like a league, like a little, kind of like a crew.
It is.
You know
it's an army.
Yeah, I never realized that until like not too long ago. Yeah, they don't have, I'm checking IMDb right now. They don't have the Flash up here as in production yet, so they probably haven't even started casting or anything for the Flash movie. But they are working on it soon, and it's going to be called. I think they're going to call it Flashpoint. So,
yeah, but I see that's the wrong movie to start out with, because Flashpoint is, you know, and you saw it on the TV series.
Yeah,
he runs back in time. He saves his mama. He goes forward in time, and the whole world is different. And, you know, everyone who you thought is good is bad. People are killing each other, blah, 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 blah. Then he has to run back to let his mother die to reset everything. It's too much of a big story to just drop that as Flash's first movie. Have Flash and Cyborg do something, because they were an interesting combination.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
You know, I did like seeing those two together.
Do you think that being that Flash is already seen in like 2 movies at this point, do you think that they need an origin story?
No, I don't think there's any DC character that needs an origin story.
Yeah.
Because all the major Batman, you know, Superman, you know, Green Lantern, you know, Wonder Woman, you know, The Flash, you know, Cyborg, you know, because of the Justice League movie.
Oh, yeah. They dove into that one pretty deep in that movie, too.
Right. Aquaman, you know. So, like, there's the 7. What do you need?
Yeah.
My thing is, I would like to see them do, I like Hal Jordan and everything, but I want to see them do a John Stewart Green Lantern.
Why so?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, John Stewart is ex-army. Okay, so it's a different point of view. 2, he's black, so it's a different point of view. Okay, And 3, not for nothing, but the Justice League is a little light in complexion.
Really?
Dude, seriously, think about it, okay? It's light in complexion. Why must... Look, like we spoke about that one time about Spider-Man. Spider-Man has Peter Parker's white, the first one that you know about. The second one you know about is Miguel O'Hara, half Mexican, half Irish.
Yeah.
And now you have Miles Morales, which is half black, half Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man, like, evolved with time. Understand? Okay, Wonder Woman is eternal. She's Greek. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, you can't change her.
Yeah, exactly.
Superman from Kansas. Wonderful. You can't change her. Yeah. Batman, he's a rich white man. You can't change that. Okay? And then the Flash, even the Flash, you have what's his name? Kid Flash.
Oh yeah. Oh, what is his name? I know exactly who you're talking about. Oh man. I'm gonna IMDb that one. IMDb is my friend today, as you can see.
Yeah. Well, look at Kid Flash. Even Kid Flash at one point they're like, yo, let's make him black. Wonderful. He became black.
Exactly.
You know, and the best part about it was they just, when they reintroduced the character, he just happened to be black. No one said anything.
Yeah, you know? I mean, I think at this point, I think a lot of movies are taking that risk too, is trying characters of different color and stuff like that. And
yeah,
at this point, people are dying for like a black James Bond, you know. And like, it's all over social media for like the past few years. Everybody's like, "Hey, when are we going to get a black James Bond?"
You know, Elba. The thing about the black James Bond, I can see both sides of it. Okay. The pro side is, let's get with the times. Okay, Idris Elba would be the fucking perfect James Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
And the negative side of it is, when you look at where the character traditionally, who he deals with, this really upper class echelon people, he would stick out like a sore thumb, so he can't be a secret spy.
Yeah.
Understand? Now, if he was just doing more secret spy stuff, like, more like boots on the ground, dealing with like terrorists or this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 it doesn't fucking matter, you know?
That would be interesting. That would be a really interesting take on James Bond, honestly.
James Bond should be more like the Bourne Identity.
Yeah. That would be so interesting, man. Like, I think at this point, that friend, and I know we're kind of branching off a little bit of DC, but I think that franchise would definitely need like a refresh at this point. And Idris Elba would be perfect for that role. I think he would take it in a direction that people would be like, wow, that's different. You know what I mean? But then you also had the people that would say, you know, who are hardcore James Bond fans, they'll probably say, hey, first off, why is he black? Second off, I don't like that. Why is he boots on the ground? I want to see flying cars and electronic women and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
But why can't he have a flying car that looks like that looks like a Honda Civic? You know? And then it actually does something else. No, but see, the other thing I'm scared of is if Idris Elba's James Bond, all of a sudden the stories are in Jamaica. The stories are in Africa.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm more scared of, that they're going to pigeonhole him into something that's very racist, which I think the way to avoid it is give us a James Bond story of when he becomes 007. Like everything he did where he goes, okay, you know, the old 007 died, you know?
Yeah.
And you've earned the rank of being the new 007. That I'd like to see.
I think that would be good because I don't think we ever had like an origin story for 007, did we? Like out of all the James Bond movies, I think I've seen most of them. I don't think I remember seeing that.
Kind of. You had Casino Royale, which is the first James Bond book. They turned it into a movie, which I didn't watch because I don't like that actor.
Yeah, I don't like him either. He's not bad. He's just not my cup of tea, honestly.
No, listen, I've seen him in other stuff. I didn't like him, so I will not watch him as James Bond. Listen to me, man. Like, you know, like Aquaman's a good example. If Jason Momoa wasn't Aquaman, I don't think very many people would be interested in it.
Honestly, when I first saw Justice League, I wasn't too crazy about him as Aquaman. because I guess because nobody played that character before, so I wasn't really sure on how to take him, and I never really read his comic books too much. So I was just like, all right, I don't know how I'm supposed to take this Aquaman. Like, is he supposed to be like this? Is he supposed to be calm? Is he supposed to be cool? But his take on Aquaman, and after seeing a few scenes from the Aquaman like movie, I was like, you know what? He's actually not bad. Like he makes me believe that he's Aquaman. You know, his attitude and everything fits that style. You know.
Well, Aquaman is a little weird. Like, he's been really like Surfer Boy at some point. He's been really serious. He's been really hardcore. So Jason Momoa, the character when he plays Aquaman, kind of like a character he played in Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, okay.
Who was a tough guy, but was funny, was loving, you know, would rip your head off at the same time, make a joke, you know. So, seeing him as Aquaman, I was like, yeah, it's awesome. Good choice. He's Hawaiian, he's Samoan, you know, Samoans love the ocean.
Hey, he's one of your ancestors. You know, we all call you Samoan, man.
Yeah, everyone thinks I'm Samoan. Especially when my hair's out and I walk the street, you know? Yeah, especially exactly. At a bar, I get aloha.
Yo, next time you go to the bar, you should just wear like a Hawaiian shirt just for no reason.
Hawaiians don't wear Hawaiian shirts, though, oddly enough, believe it or not.
Oh, man.
They don't.
So
but I can't do the sandals things, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a sandals guy. I'm sorry. The closest thing I'll come to wearing sandals is flip-flops. Like, that's the closest I'm getting to it. Honestly.
Now, I wear flip-flops on the beach, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me.
So how do you feel about the possibility about Ben Affleck not playing, you know, Batman anymore? I mean, because right now, everywhere on IMDb, it's still a question mark as to whether he's going to play. I heard in some places that he's not coming back. Like, how do you feel about that?
I think it's a shame. I think he did a good job as Batman. He played him as an older Batman, who's way more hardcore, and I liked it. You know, is it the Batman I'm used to? No, but it was a good take on him. I also liked Cavill's take on Superman.
Oh yeah, it sucks he's not going to play it anymore. Honestly,
bro, but, yeah, he looks like Superman.
He does. He has like that strong, like freaking jaw structure. Like he has like that Superman face. Like when you look at him, he's like that Superman.
and he's built like a brick shit house.
Exactly, and it's like he's not going to be Superman now. I'm like, who are they going to put in that role? And like that's what sucks about like DC. I think that's one of their major downfalls when it comes compared to Marvel is that a lot of the characters don't stick around. I mean, I was surprised that, you know, Wonder Woman is still kicking. I'm surprised she's still in there. You know, I'm surprised they got Aquaman back for his own movie, you know, but Batman and Joker have been known to be those characters that are always just, you know, just constantly recycled, and it sucks, you know? I mean, I don't know.
Well, Batman is tough. He's a real tough actor. I mean, look, right now they have possible actors to replace him. Jake Gyllenhaal.
I heard about that one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
A terrible one they have is Ryan Gosling. No,
absolutely not. Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one.
Josh Brolin, I've had enough of him.
Honestly, I think what it is, if you pick a Batman, you gotta pick a Batman who's not overly famous. Don't pick somebody who's been in like 1,000 movies. You know, just like Aquaman. Like, I never really seen too much. Like, he's been in Hollywood, yeah, but he's not like all over the place. So when you saw him in there, you was like, oh, this looks interesting. But if you pick somebody who's like overly famous, she's like, oh, they got the guy that was in 007 being Batman now. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
The one I do like, because he looks like Bruce Wayne, is Richard Armitage. I think I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Richard Armitage.
Armitrage. He looks like Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah, he could be. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. He definitely
Idris Elba is rumored to play Batman. I think it's such a bad choice.
Yeah,
He's not Batman. Put him as Green Lantern. Yeah, wonderful. But as Batman, no. Another one I like is John Hamm. the guy from that advertising show on HBO, Mad Men. John Hamm. He looks like a Batman.
Yeah, he could be a good older Batman. I could, well, not too much older, but decently older Batman.
Yeah, some people say Keanu Reeves, and I'm like, no, Batman's not gonna be like, whoa, I'm gonna kick your ass. No.
Let's get to the Batcave.
I'm Batman. No.
Where's my bat?
They say Michael Fassbender, and I think it's a terrible choice.
I don't know, man. It's one of those roles that's like a hit or miss, man. They just treat it like it's trash sometimes. I think Ben Affleck was probably one of the best ones that we've had since like the original Batman movie. What is his name? Michael
Adam
Keaton?
West?
Nah, well, yeah, him too. But
I hated his Batman.
Michael Keaton was.
Oh, he was good. He was a good Batman.
He was an amazing Batman, and I think those two are probably the best Batmans. I think honestly, everybody else was just like they were just placeholders, But I think that's one thing that DC needs to try to work on, and I know it's tough because you got actors that got big schedules. But get somebody who doesn't have crazy schedules over the next few years. Like if you want to build on this franchise, you want to build on this hero. Just say, hey, listen, we're trying to build this Batman brand. We need at least like an 8-year contract, and pick somebody who has the schedule to fit it. So I think that will help people love these characters more. That's why everybody loves DC. Like, look how long Robert Downey Jr. has been here. 10 years. 10 years is Iron Man.
Yeah, and he wants to play for another 5 years.
That's what I'm saying. So, and people love Robert. Like me, I was never really big on him. I mean, I've watched some of his movies, but I was like, whatever. Like, I love that dude now because of what he did as Iron Man. And when you have a character that constantly comes back, people love that character. When a movie hits theaters, they're like, oh, I want to go see this movie because you grew up with this character for so many years, So I think DC needs to fix that.
Well, my thing is, if they do Batman, I like to see a Batman that you've already gone through. Jason Todd, Dick Grayson is already not there, like he's already Nightwing.
Yeah,
I want to see Damian Wayne be Robin, and I want to see Dick Grayson become Batman.
Yes, I'm waiting for that. And that's another character I think that they really need to dive into is Robin. Nightwing. Like, we've seen a lot of Batman movies. I love Batman. I'll never get tired of it. I might complain about certain Batmans, but I will always go to the theaters to watch it. But give me some Robin movies. Give me some, Nightwing. Like, those characters. There's so many characters that they need to touch base on. Instead of trying to find the perfect Batman, let's find the perfect Robin.
I think the perfect Nightwing. I've read Nightwing book. I read the Nightwing stories and Nightwing books, but I'm not really into the Batman ones. Really? I think for me, Batman was better done animated.
Yeah, Batman is done pretty good animated. Honestly, compared to the movies, I think this animated films are better. Like even the Japanese, I don't know. I think it's called Batman Japanese or Japanese Batman, the one that just.
Oh, you mean Batman Samurai or whatever?
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my to do to watch.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good, and like the animation style was amazing. So
see, the thing I think is I think DC does television very well, but movies terribly, and I think that and their animated movies are spectacular.
Oh yeah,
DC, and I think on the Marvel side they do movies great. TV shows not so much, and their animated is very, very kiddie, very kid friendly.
Yeah, it really is.
It's not like teenager ish or 20-something ish.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that DC can kind of get over that hump and just make better films. I mean, I haven't got to see Aquaman yet, but I heard it's doing really well, obviously, and it's a pretty good movie. So I'm definitely going to try to check it out pretty soon. And as far as Batman, I heard that in the next Batman movie called The Batman, which is a weird title, the first villain is going to be Deathstroke. So that's going to be interesting to see how they tackle that, honestly.
I really don't think it should be Deathstroke because Deathstroke has been more of a Teen Titans enemy than he has really been a Batman one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on who they put as that role too, honestly, because whoever they place in that role could really screw it up. You know what I mean?
What, Deathstroke?
Yeah. It just depends on who they pick, to be Deathstroke. Actually, I think they do. If I go back and check, I think they do have a person who's going to be Deathstroke. I'm going to find that out for you real quick.
Yeah, I thought that was cast already.
Joe Manganiello.
Yes, and do you know who he was?
No, who was
he? He's already been in a Spider-Man movie.
Really?
Yeah. Remember the Steve Raimi movies?
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi, yeah. Sam Raimi movies. He was the original Flash, the one who's trying to beat up Peter Parker at the locker.
Oh, that was him?
That was him.
Crap.
Yeah, it was him.
Wow. Actually, it says he was in Justice League. What? Was he in Justice League?
Was he?
Yeah, it has it up here as one of his credits.
Oh, he was in an after credit scene.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about that. Holy crap. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. That's crazy. So yeah, Deathstroke is gonna be the first character. So I mean, the first villain. So that's gonna be kind of interesting. So, but yeah, I know we went long on the DC talk, but there's a lot to talk about with DC. But we're gonna dive into some Apple news. Apple apparently is deciding to branch off and try to play nice with other companies right now. They're doing more partnerships with LG and Samsung. So as you know, like the AirPlay option on iPhones and Apple TVs are only for Apple products. But now if you get like an LG TV or a Samsung TV, now they're going to have the AirPlay option, and some of them are going to have iTunes in there. So, which is pretty big for Apple. Why do you think Apple is deciding to actually try to have friends now?
Because they're seeing themselves fall behind. This is no longer the 90s, or the early 2000s, where they had the lead in music, they had the lead in movies, they had almost exclusive support, and people were being Apple fanatics for stuff.
Yeah.
Google pushed Android to a point where it's super popular. Not only that, there are more options available for Android. Amazon with their Fire Stick and things like that. It opened up so many people to stream to the television and things like that. And Apple was like, well, all we have is Apple TV if you want to stream to your television.
Yeah.
Do I really want to pay $50 for it? Or do I want it to be included in my TV?
Exactly. And that was one of my biggest problems with that's actually one of the reasons why I stopped buying movies on the Apple Store, because when I bought a movie and I wanted to watch it on TV, there was no way for me to do that. I couldn't stream it. I couldn't like do it through AirPlay or anything because I didn't have an Apple TV. And I'm like, do I really want to spend the money on just an Apple TV? And it's not like they come really big. I mean, most of them, I think it only went up to 30 something inches, I think, for an Apple TV, maybe.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I can go out and buy like a 65 or 70 inch Apple TV. So I actually stopped buying movies on there.
No, Apple TV is a little box, remember?
Yeah, but don't they have like an actual like TV? No, really?
No. See, that's just rumors.
Oh yeah, see, that's how I see. Yeah, but I think it's good though. I think it's good that Apple is opening up. Because like you said, they have to keep up with the times. Times are changing, and their iPhone sales have even dropped too. Like they lost a lot of money on the iPhone sales this year because, for one, they're getting more expensive. I think the last 2 years, the highest iPhone was $1,000, and people don't have money like that to shell out every year for a phone, especially if you're not really upgrading too much with your phone.
I just think it's, again, and I own an Apple TV. Okay. So, if you have a regular Apple, I'm on Apple site right now. If you buy a regular Apple TV, it's $149.
That's insane. That's insane. When you can just buy a Google Chrome stick for $50?
Or you could buy what's the thing called again? The purple one.
Roku.
Yes.
Yeah.
For like $20.
That's what I'm saying. So like, and like that's one thing that stopped me from getting it, because at first I was, because I was like, hey, I have all these Apple movies, I want to play it on my TV, but then I'm like, do I really want to spend like all that money just for a box to play my movies? And then once the Chromecast and all the other stuff came out, I just bought that. I got a Chromecast for like 20 something bucks at one point because it was on sale.
Yeah, and look, an Apple TV 4K is $180.
Nah, that's just ridiculous.
That's too much.
It's pointless. Honestly, I'm actually surprised that they're even still selling those, because with so many options, with just like Chromecasting, with just casting things from your phone into your TV, you don't need another box, because you got smart TVs that you can literally play anything from your phone straight to your TV with no other box.
Listen, I'm about to dump my cable. I am literally about 2 weeks away from dumping my cable.
Oh, do it.
I'm going to dump my, because I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
I'm going to dump my cable. I'm going to keep an internet connection. And I'm going to go with YouTube TV.
Honestly, that's probably the best thing to do, because I kind of feel the same way. I don't watch TV. And if I do watch something on TV, 9 times out of 10, it's probably sports or sports. Like, that's pretty much about it. Everything I watch on Hulu.
And by the way, the Eagles won today. Go Eagles.
Oh, you guys did win.
Yes, we did.
Oh my God! All right, you guys might actually be hitting.
Well, last time I saw the score. Let me double check right now.
Yeah, because I was actually watching the game earlier, but I stopped watching it, so I didn't get a chance to see who won or not.
No, Eagles lost 14-20.
Oh no!
Last time I saw it, they were up.
No Super Bowl. I'm sorry, buddy.
It's all right. We won once. I don't give a shit. I'm good with that.
I promise you, the Jets are going to win within the next 5 years. I'm putting money on
Bro,
it.
this is my opinion about the Jets. Right color, wrong team.
Right color, wrong team.
Yeah, right color, wrong team.
Oh, my God.
Nah, I've never been a Jets fan. I've also never been a Giants fan either. So I've never liked New York teams.
Oh, yeah. I just like New York. Well, I like the Jets because my dad liked the Jets ever since I was a kid. So I just kind of adopted the team. So that's
see, I had more respect for the Jets when they used to play in Yankee Stadium and all that shit. When they were they were a first-rate team treated like a third-rate team.
Yeah.
And they didn't have their own stadium, all this other stuff, and I had a lot more. I was like, damn, they got balls. They don't care. To me, they were kind of like the ghetto team where they'd fuck you up and nobody would care.
They'd be like the refs will turn the other way.
The refs were like, I don't want you to tackle me next.
I didn't see that. What flag?
Exactly.
I don't have any more flags. For real.
But like I said, I've never been a fan, so I can't even comment on them good or bad. I joke around.
Yeah.
But I can't even comment on them good or bad.
Yeah, we're bad. We're getting a new jersey that we're going to show off soon. So we're getting all new jersey. I don't know if they're going to change the color or not. Probably not. But we're changing our jersey. We got a new coach. We're getting a new defensive coordinator. So I'm just hoping that next year things will change up and we'll at least get into the playoffs. If we can at least get into the playoffs, I'll be happy. At least I know we're going into the right direction. You know what I mean?
Right.
We need to add some sports talk to this show.
Yeah, no, that's all you, bro. Yeah. My idea of sports is dating.
First date, first quarter.
No, that's like the kickoff.
Oh, that's the kickoff.
That's the kickoff. All right, so back to this. Now, I also, when we talked before the show, you wanted to talk about how iPhone sales have fallen.
Yeah.
I think that comes for a couple of reasons. One, holy shit, how many do people have iPhones? That is like the number one mobile device is an iPhone.
Oh yeah.
More people have iPhones than any other brand of phone.
That's crazy because at a point I thought it used to be that more people had Android.
No. Here's the thing: more people have the Android OS, but
yeah, true.
Not everyone has the same phone.
Exactly. Yeah, because the Android OS can be tablets.
No. The Android OS could be a Samsung phone, right? But Samsung has 4 models out at the time. It could have an LG phone, and LG has 3 models out at a time. It could be a Sony phone, and Sony has, like 10 models out at a time.
Yeah.
And all these other companies. But a single brand iPhone, the leader, the number one in sales. But the problem is it's getting ridiculous. Who the fuck wants to pay $1,000 for a phone?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the only reason why I even have the latest iPhone, I have the iPhone X Max, the one that just came out last September. And the only reason why I upgraded because I had the iPhone 8, which wasn't even like it was the previous model before they came out with the 10. So I only upgraded it because I wanted like that bigger screen without the bezels. That was the only reason why I upgraded.
Bro, I have the iPhone 6. You want to find out why? I use it as a phone. Yeah, I'll shoot some video. I'll take some pictures. I don't really play games on it. Mm-hmm. I like the smaller format. I already have an iPad. I don't need to hold that up to my head to make a phone call, Well,
me, I have the bigger phone because like my hands are pretty big and it's hard for me to type sometimes. So that's one of the reasons why I have the bigger phone. But I wonder that too. Like if I had an iPad, would I be so crazy about trying to upgrade? Because I like the bigger screen to do certain things. And if I had an iPad, that would probably change that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. And again, for me, I prefer the smaller phone because, I don't need my whole entire pocket to be full of a phone. I want to be able to put something else in there.
Like, what's that in your pocket, Los? What you doing over there, man?
Is that an iPad? No, that's a phone.
That's a phone.
I don't really watch videos and stuff like that on my phone. The most I do is go on Reddit. That's it.
I just think the problem is that, the phones are getting too expensive, and each and every year coming out with a new phone, I just feel like it's getting to the point where it's like there's only but so much you can change about like a phone every year. The main thing will be like, all right, the camera can shoot better. Like that's probably like the main thing. Other than that, there's really not a lot to change with the phone every year to keep dishing out $1,000 for a phone that doesn't change that much in design, except for recently when it came out with the 10. But like next year, what are they going to do? It's going to look just like the iPhone 10, and they're going to say, "Oh, it's faster." It's always faster,
Well, a lot of it a lot of the upgrades happen because of chipsets. Like, there's a better Bluetooth chip. There's a better cellular chip.
Yeah.
There's better battery life. There's better screens. And those pieces combined make a better phone.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, you upgrade every 2 or 3 years because I really use it as a phone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my end all and be all for like communication. So for me, I don't care.
I don't think I'm going to upgrade next year, honestly. I think what I have is fine. I love my camera. I love what my phone does. I mainly use it. I mean, I don't really play games on it. I'm not really a big game player when it comes to the phones. I use it to talk to family and friends and everybody, and I use it mainly for like a lot of like business type of stuff. So other than that, I don't really think I need to upgrade next year. I mean, I think they need to start. I think phones are going to get to the point where they're going to say, you know what? Every 6 months or every year, we're going to start letting you upgrade your phone. Like if there's a new chip out, bring your phone in, we'll upgrade your chip or something like that. I don't know. I mean, that might be too crazy, but I just think that eventually phones may slow down on just coming out with a new phone every year. Maybe it'll be every year and a half, or maybe they'll just take your phone in and just add the new upgrade to it until they decide to come out with a bigger design like every 3 years instead of every year. You know what I mean?
No, the problem is the competition.
Yeah, true. You're probably right. Because as long as there's competition, they're going to always want to say, oh, well, we should do what Apple did. And somebody else will say, we should do what LG did and come out with a new phone so we can have this feature, or do this before Apple. Things like that. It's crazy.
All these guys run around in circles. It's like, oh, you did this, I'll do this. You do this. It's all monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
There's very little forward innovation because my 6 will do the same things yours do pretty much. Like everyone's going, oh, that face security stuff.
Honestly,
okay.
I don't like
that. I don't care.
It's okay. Like the face thing is all right. It sucks because like right now, if I'm wearing my headphones and if I turn a certain way and it's not directly in front of my face, it won't recognize me. Or like if I have my hat on, it won't recognize me. So honestly, at certain points, I'd rather just have the finger ID, or at least give me the option to do both. Give me the option to do face or finger. I mean, I'm not sure if you can, because you can still put the home screen. I mean, you can still put the home phone button on your screen. It'll just be kind of like translucent. So
Yeah, but the thing is, though, there's no physical home button anymore.
yeah, it's not. And I missed the finger ID thing. Like, they should have just kind of kept that. Even if it is translucent, still kind of make it to the point where you can use your finger ID or your face.
Me personally, it's, I like the phone that I have because it does everything that I need it to do.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has the whole face recognition and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah.
It's toys.
You know,
that's all it is. It's just toys. It's just neat little toys. I mean, just like you said, every company tries to model themselves after other companies, and Apple was also going to be investing $1 billion into content, which means that they're going to start trying to do a streaming service probably. So instead of you just buying their movies and stuff like that.
But they're doing it too late in the game. They should have done this 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's way too late. Like, I mean, people might do it, but I just think as far as them trying to compete with Netflix or Amazon Prime and things like that, I don't know if they're going to catch up, because like you said, it is too late. They should have came out with a content or something like that, years ago. But Apple, they want to do everything their way, and they don't want to have to, share anything with any other company. But now they're trying to partner and things like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Think about how much Hulu has suffered to try to compete with Netflix.
Yeah. Netflix is a giant right now.
It is. It is.
Giant, All right, so we're going to get into one of our final topics tonight. What we're going to talk about, I know a lot of people out there has their own view on what's going on with the government right now, and I'm not trying to bash anybody who likes Trump or anybody who doesn't like Trump. Anything that we're talking about right now is our beliefs and just our opinions, so don't try to attack me after the show or Los. But the government shutdown, I believe it's still going on. What's your opinion on it, buddy? I'll let you take it away.
I think Donald Trump is a terrorist. Anyone who holds the government for ransom is a terrorist. He's holding the government for $5 billion for his wall. That is terrorism. He's turning around. He's going, people will adjust. I can relate to this. No, you can't. You cannot relate to not having food on your table. When he goes, oh, I can relate because I've been bankrupt. Yeah, you've been bankrupt 5 times, buddy. But guess what? You still had a shit ton of money in the bank. You still had a shit ton of properties. If you were so broke, you could have sold a $2 million condo that you had, or a $1 billion building that you had, and you would have money again. You can't compare that. People need their checks. 95% of the people in America are literally 2 checks away from being homeless. We live check to check. There's no savings. We don't know how to save as a country. He's a terrorist. He doesn't care about the common man, and that's a problem. The hillbilly from Iowa, or the middle class person from New Jersey, or the upper middle class person from Florida, if you work for the government, you get nothing. If you have food stamps, you're not getting that. If you're a vet and you need your medicine, you're not getting that. Hell, you can't even freaking go to a national park without being run over by, without having all this garbage in the way, people shitting on the side of the road. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. I mean, I just think he's a little. I mean, I get that this whole illegal immigrant situation is pretty tough in America. I'm not saying that it's not. But I just feel like the way he's going about it, he's being insensitive to the people that this is going to affect. I mean, it was saying that some 500,000 people weren't going to get paid. That's
800,000.
That's insane. 800,000 people. It's not like that's just one office of 50 people. 800,000 people. That is ridiculous, and you're just insensitive to that because you're not getting what you want. Like you sound like a crybaby. Oh well, I can't get my toy, so I'm just gonna make everybody starve because until I get my toy. Like, are you serious?
And here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Do you know more illegal immigration happens from Canada onto America?
Really?
Yeah, not Mexico to America. So you have more people flying into Canada to literally come down to the States. Mm-hmm. But the reason why he does that is because the people who are coming from up north have a lighter complexion than the people who are coming from down south.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a border wall, talk about the whole goddamn country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you get that wall, are you really still going to be able to stop illegal immigration?
And do you realize that if the wall is actually, John Oliver did this great piece on it. Mm-hmm. The wall is actually going to cost somewhere around $50 billion.
Which is insane.
And within 7 years, okay, it will cost more to maintain the wall than what it originally cost to build the wall.
That's ridiculous, man.
It's diminishing returns. It's stupid.
I mean, it's going to end up just putting, like, honestly, I'm counting down like the days, the months until his term is done. His term is done after this year, or does he have until 2020?
2020.
I'm counting down the months until it's time for him to be out of office, man.
The thing is, what he also doesn't realize is these could be grounds for impeachment.
But that's the thing. We've been saying that since he got into office. Like, after everything he's done so much crap that you would think that he would have been impeached at this point, and he hasn't. And government officials are getting tired of him. Why isn't anybody trying to get him out of office?
Do you want to find out why? And I'm going to say this, and I don't care who disagrees with me, but I know a lot of Republicans, okay, who hate Obama, mm-hmm. not because of his policies, not because of what he's done for the government, not what he's done against people, mm-hmm. But because he's black. And you hear them go, okay, that fucking N-word, I can't stand him in office. Yo, like, let's take a real look at Obama, all right? People say, oh, he wasn't tough on immigration. Do you know more people got deported under the Obama administration than any other administration previous?
Really?
Yeah. He took a very shitty gross national... our economy was shit. He fixed it. Started fixing things for student loans. We got more respect because Bush was terrible at foreign policy.
Yeah.
Under Obama, the world looked at us again as a world leader. Mm-hmm. The world looked at us again with respect. We had a government surplus, which is gone, by the way, under Trump. Mm-hmm. We had ambassadors in every country. We had all these government positions filled. The country was running smoothly. And in comes Trump. Yo, do you know we don't have ambassadors? We're missing 250 ambassadors that refuses to fill the position.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, there's so much that Trump has... He's not doing his job. Anyway, back to this. Obama also was scandal-free. There was no scandals.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest scandal, do you know what the biggest scandal was that Obama had?
What?
That he wore a brown suit.
That was a scandal?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So many news channels were like, oh, my God, the president wearing a brown suit. That was a scandal.
Yeah, because that is true. Almost every president we have, there's always something. There is always something, but for him, like it.
Nothing.
And I'm not saying he was perfect. I know everybody might look at me or you and say, "Oh,
no.
You guys."
There is no president that is perfect.
Yeah.
Whoever believes that is an idiot or delusional. There's no president that is perfect, including Obama.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, but it's just that, like you said, yeah. At least people I think more people had respect for Obama for what he was doing, and the way we look at Trump. I feel like he's just very childish. He's going on Twitter and just talking like a big baby and he's just very childish.
Spelling everything wrong.
Yeah, it's just, come on, man. I mean, I just feel like he's really insensitive to a certain class of people in the country, and he's only looking out for people who has money or all these big businesses and things like that. And he's not thinking about everybody. He's not thinking about how this whole situation with the wall is going to affect people who have low income or live in bad neighborhoods and things like that. You know,
he can't relate. He can't relate. He was never poor.
Yeah, but even if you weren't, still have that, you know, just still understand of who this is going to affect. At least try to understand it. You know what I mean? This is going to affect a lot of people, and he's not even thinking about that. He's just, all he sees, I want my wall. Period.
Yeah, now think about the people who cannot quit. Think about all the government workers who have to go to work.
Exactly.
People who work in the federal prison system.
Exactly.
FBI agents. You know, he talks about, you know, make America great again. Well, you're not doing it. Not only that, you have TSA agents that have literally quit, who are calling in sick, who just don't care what happens because they're not being paid. Hell, some TSA agents can't afford the gas to get to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, he doesn't think, because he's never been poor. He's never had to work a day in his life. Do you know how many people are employed by the Trump organization, by the way?
No, how many?
12.
Really?
12 people. Everything he does, it's subcontractors or contractors that he hires. He has a 12-man company, okay, where he basically does nothing. And he's annoyed.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, right now I'm looking online and it says that we have a partial government shutdown right now. So, and that's bad, man. That's bad. They said some national parks are closed, and some people might lose their, you know, their like government assistance, like the food stamps and like rental assistance and things like that. So it's getting cold outside. It's going to be snowing soon. People might not even have homes. You know, they might not have jobs.
People aren't going to have tax returns.
Yes.
You're going to tell me that the people who support him are going to be like, yeah, go Trump. I don't need my tax return that I depend on every year.
That's ridiculous, man. And like, who knows when people will get their taxes? Some people might not even get it till summertime. You know what I mean? Or whenever they decide to actually, you know, try to give out their taxes. You know, it's just ridiculous.
If our tax returns get delayed by the number of days that the government is shut down, mm-hmm. I think we're going to get it like 22 days later than we would. So we're going to get it in May.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
It's just,
that is
there's no,
man.
You know, and when the Democrats came up to him and said, hey, let's talk about this, he was like, you can give me my wall? They're like, no. And he storms out. That's not being a president, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's being childish. He's being childish.
Well, here's the thing. Whether you're blue or red, the government shutdown is bad. Period. Whether you're blue or red, you know, it's going to affect you the same exact way. Let's look at the reasons why it's happening and who it's affecting. For a president to be a president, he has to be willing to do things that are for the good of the people over what's good for you. And that is what matters in situations like this.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it any better.
Thank you.
So we're going to leave off the show with our recommendations, as we always do. It could be anything from a film, game, your favorite candy bar, whatever, anything. I'll let you start off.
That you said favorite candy bar, and it reminded me of a candy bar that was released in the early 80s called the Reggie Jackson bar. Man, that shit was delicious.
There was something called the Reggie Jackson bar?
Yo, Reggie Jackson had his own candy bar.
Oh my God.
And it was delicious.
Are you serious?
Yes. And when they stopped making it, I was a little kid and I almost cried.
Oh my God. Is that your recommendation for somebody to go find the Reggie Jackson?
No. I'm just saying you said candy bar and I thought about it. And I was like, oh my God, candy bar.
Candy.
Yeah. Actually, my recommendation is the Orville from Seth MacFarlane's science fiction show. It just came back to season 2, and it's really good. Even if you're not a fan of sci-fi, you'll be a fan of the show. It's just it's good stories. And I think that's what people want above all else when it comes to television. It's good stories. And I people think people should watch The Orville.
I've been so tempted to watch that show. I keep seeing commercials almost every time I turn the TV on, and I'm like, every time I see like one of the commercials, I get like a step closer to just saying, you know what, I'll watch one episode.
It's on Hulu, dude. It's on Hulu. Watch it. First episode you may not like. For the pilot episode you may not like if you're not into sci-fi, but second episode on, they're just good stories.
My thing is that I'm just afraid of, like, I was afraid of it just being, because it just looks like a funny version of like Star Trek, and I was afraid of it just being too over the top that I was going to just not like it. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing: the first 3 or 4 episodes, there is a little more humor than you would expect, but after that, it really is more like jokes that people would say at work. Like when we would work at the studio, we'd be on a shoot. Like you'd crack a joke or I'd crack a joke, and we'd keep going.
Yeah,
it's more like that. It's more like a funny little side thing that somebody says than really a flat out comedy skit.
Okay. I might have to pop that on my Hulu one day and check it out.
It's worth it.
My recommendation would be a movie that came out. When did this movie came out? It came out last year, called Sorry to Bother You. I don't know if you got to check that out yet.
Oh, it's about the telemarketer guy, right?
Yes. I'm gonna read the little promo from the IMDb website.
I've wanted to watch it. I've wanted to watch it, but I haven't had time yet.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The best way to describe it on here says, in an alternate present day version of Oakland, telemarketer Cassius Green discovers a magical key to professional success, propelling him into a universe of greed. It's an awesome movie. To a lot of people, it might be weird. I'm not going to give away any spoilers or anything like that, but there's certain aspects in here that might make you look at the movie sideways and say, what is going on? Why is that happening? It's one of those movies that you kind of can't just watch like a traditional movie. It kind of forces you to think a little bit.
Not, I'm not talking about the movie, but I'm talking about like us as minorities in general. We have 2 ways of talking. We have our work way of talking, and then we have our real way of talking.
It's kind of funny because the movie talks about that too.
No, but it's true. You know, at work we're like, "Hi, Bob. How are you doing? How were the kids this weekend?" You know.
Yeah.
When we get home, we're like, "Nah, man, that's fucked up." You know, like we're ourselves.
It's funny because that's how we got to survive. You know, basically. Yeah. You know, that's when you're at work, you have to talk like that. You know, and if you already talk like that, then that's a different story. But when you're home, you feel more comfortable. And I think it's more than, like, in a movie, it talks more than just about just talking a certain way, or as people would say, talking white. It's more than just that. You know, it's that when you get to,
I've always hated that term, talking white.
Yeah, I hate it.
And the reason why I hate it is, so being someone who's educated, and speaking a particular way, that's not being white. That's speaking like an educated individual.
Exactly.
And I've always hated that. You know, being someone who's educated is just being educated.
I've always hated that because a lot of my friends always said that to me growing up, like when I was in like high school and like things like that. I just heard that a lot. All my friends say, "Oh, why you talk so white?" I'm like, "Why do I have to be considered talking white?" So you're saying that so you're saying that if I'm black, I have to talk like I'm ignorant? You know, like it just always bothered me, and I used to always get that, and it's just based on how I was raised. I mean, my parents raised me a certain way, and if I talked or said something improper, they will always correct me. That's just how I was raised.
For me, it was a little different. For me, being Latino, it was people perceived you differently when you said chicken instead of chicken, you know? And when I used to work for the Philadelphia Orchestra, people would call me and say they have problems with tickets and this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, sure, no problem, ma'am. I'll take care of it. And I do the whole thing. I'm like, ma'am, I'll meet you at the box office. I'm easy to recognize. My hair is in a ponytail. I have black hair. And then I would go to them and they see me and they're like, who are you? I'm like, I'm the person you spoke to on the phone, ma'am. And they just look at me like sideways. They're like, yeah, they're like, I didn't know Hawaiians, could speak like that.
Wow, she called you Hawaiian?
Oh, I get called Hawaiian all the time.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. Not really hilarious, but,
Yeah, what expect me to go? Brother, sister, your ticket.
Have a good time.
Speaking pigeon and shit. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to go on a rant. It's just I've always hated that expression.
Yeah, I hate it too. And like the movie touches bases on that a lot. The movie reaches into a lot of sensitive topics about the whole fact of being black and being in a professional work environment that is predominantly white. Like it really smacks you in the face with that, with that topic. And there's a certain part in the film when it gets to the end where it just gets insane. Like you have to watch it. Like, I mean, it's hard to talk about the movie without giving away spoilers, so I'm not going to keep beating around it too much. But yeah, so that is JHouze Radio, episode 5, our first episode of 2019, starting things off strong. Once again, we appreciate you guys checking us out. It's been fun as always. Los, you got any closing statements you want to leave with the people tonight?
Also, don't forget that we are still running our contest or reward. I don't know how you want to word it. Where the 50th, the top. Once we reach 50 comments, we're going to pick a person at random and you get a $50 gift card. Don't forget that's still there. We'll give it to you from iTunes or Amazon, whichever you prefer. And thank you very much for your support.
For sure. We got to get those comments up, guys. So feel free. I mean, you can say, hey, our show sucks. Our show is great. I didn't like what you said in episode blah. Whatever, just any comment.
Don't forget to mention how sexy my voice is, whatever it is.
We're going to vote. We're going to have a vote in the comment section. Let us know whose voice is sexier. All right, guys, that is episode 5. Thanks for checking us out and live life.